Hello and welcome to the latest episode of the UnCalled Four, What Grinds Our Gears. If you are wanting to see stupidity being trounced, you have come to the right place. Thank you very much, and I will turn your attention to Ilya, please.
Hey there. Thanks, Amy. As always, it's always great to have you by my side as we enter these shows. I hope you're well.
I am, thank you. Doing very well. How about you?
I'm doing pretty well myself. So let's go and do a bit of a roundtable. We are missing one of our uncalled for tonight. As we all know, Struggling is in the middle of a move, so we wish her the best of luck and hope she gets lots and lots of rest after they're done moving. But let's talk to Glover Mom. Hi, Mommy.
Hello.
So what's going on in your neck of the woods? What do you have coming up?
Nothing right now. Working on a video to get out this week. And it's about the gift that keeps on giving, Nathan Thompson. So
Yeah.
look for it this week. I'm working on it now. VB Boy took a lot of my time last week distracting me. So you got to work on Nathan this week.
For sure. For sure. Mm-hmm. Well, we look forward to any video you have coming out. You always put it together so good. So I'm so excited for your next one.
Great. Thank you.
Of course, behind the scenes, we have none other than Bull himself. How are you, Bull?
I'm doing well. How are you ladies this fine evening? Excited for some stupid?
I'm always excited for some stupid.
Can't miss stupid. There's always stupid somewhere.
What do you have coming up, Bull?
Well, other than the usual Pimp Monk show every day and a bunch of In Time next week sometime, which we hope to get back on a more sane schedule with the In Time channel. But the shows, of course, every weekend, 3 shows. I do the Friday Silly Shill show and the Pain of Progress on Saturday, and here we are on Sunday. So
wonderful. Well, we do have a very special episode for you guys tonight. Not just are we going to deep dive more into Copeland, who you guys got a little bit of a taste of last week. We also are doing an ally show tonight, which means that we have Mr. Serious with us. We welcome him to the show. He is a definitive ally of not just our show, but also that time of the month that Cheshire, Sweet Heathen, Felden Engineering, and Nikki all host together. So, Mr. Serious, thank you so much for joining us. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you. I'm honored to be here. It's a dream come true to be surrounded by 3 of the most lovely ladies on the internet.
Oh,
thank you.
Thank you.
We really appreciate that, and we're looking.
Oh, and Bull's here too.
Yeah. What about Bull? No.
What about Bull?
No, we're really excited to have you. You are our first gentleman on an ally perspective, so we are extremely, extremely happy to have you with us. And it means a lot to us to have a male come in and give a male perspective to some of these hostile, misogynistic, narcissistic, MGTOW incels that we're reviewing, right? So we really appreciate you doing that.
Wouldn't be anywhere else.
Now, with that said, before we get jump started into the show, the other night, as you know, the EiE Network put on a show specifically to react to the latest Validation Boy video that he put out against those of us within the UnCalled Four and the EiE Network. During that episode on the EiE Network, everybody pretty much got to go through and roundtable their final thoughts. However, I had to leave the show early because, well, work the next day. So I just couldn't hang that late, if you will. So with that said, I want to preface this with, if you're listening, Validation Boy, you're absolutely correct in your sentiment that your name will never be uttered on our show again after my statement. But I do want to give my final thoughts and my final statement on how you've been and how you've treated us through the process. And then once I close my statement out, your name, your videos will never be showcased on the UnCalled For ever again. So don't be mistaken just because I'm talking about you right now in this moment, that it means anything more than just that. So my final statement and my closeout on this is basically you don't have any argument to stand on. Therefore, you use looks, you use superficial, surface things to try to attack people and tear people down because you have no legitimate arguments. You're not educated. You're very ignorant in your thoughts and in your mental state. You're very arrogant and very narcissistic, and you can't see past your own bullshit to hear another person who may have valid thoughts and valid arguments and have that discussion. You do it in a very unhealthy way. I have genuine concerns for your mental state. I am not a doctor. I am not qualified to help you, but I would highly suggest that you seek some sort of help for yourself because I think a lot of that stems from just your unhappiness in general. And I don't know where that unhappiness comes from. I don't know. But I do know that you seem very bitter. You seem very angry. You seem very unhappy. Therefore, you are taking it out on other people in a very superficial way. I don't know if you lack self-confidence and if you're insecure, and that's why you want to latch on to attacking people for their looks or attacking people for superficial, non-important things. But I really think it's unhealthy. And I really, really urge you to look inward and maybe ask for some help somewhere. Because I think that if you could take what little bit of potential you had on actually gaining an audience and moved it into a constructive path as opposed to a self-sabotaging, destructive path, you actually could probably come out with some great videos with a lot of good things to say. But right now, you're down the path of darkness where you're sabotaging yourself, you're hurting yourself, and you're trying to hurt others in the process. And I really worry that that's, not a healthy place for anyone to be. So I genuinely hope that that person to person, I wish you the best, and I hope you get the help you need. Now, uncalled for Ilya Moon to validation boy, fuck off. So, that's all I have to say. Thank you for letting me have that. So, after that, we're never talking about it again on our show. We're done. Hands are wiped clean, y'all.
There you go.
So,
That's it.
With that said, I think it would be great to go ahead and move into our first video. Bull, why don't you give the title to the audience and let everybody know what we're about to watch?
Oh, yes. Wouldn't miss this one for the world. Copeland Coronavirus Black Pill Strategy.
Woohoo! Let's see what they're doing to deal with COVID.
Get ready to take notes, kids.
That's right.
Gentlemen, get your notepads handy so you know how to get through this.
Oh, yes. Hello, listeners. My goodness. Welcome back to Copeland. So, yeah, I've just now basically just been trading, standing by for the news. It seems pretty apparent that this is the biggest event of the century so far, and I guess we can't really avoid talking about the virus anymore because it's going to become a part of our lives, and it seems like a bad sci-fi. This pandemic shaking the foundations of the system, and I don't really care because, as you may be aware, I knew that the system was fucked, and I knew that most people are fucked in the head. And the whole Trump thing scared me because of how so many libs and leftists, who as most people I know, went into brain spasms over it. And once again, I took note of a major event where the public reaction, made the effect of a bad thing much, much worse and was obviously completely retarded. And I knew I had to get away from the morons because the system actually is unsustainable. And the battlefield hasn't changed as much as you think it has. Ultimately, it's still one group commanding their horde of low IQ morons against other groups' horde of low IQ morons. And that's what politics pretty much is now, just like war was for thousands of years. Serving some ideology just makes you a little fucking pawn. The only political consciousness I ascribe to is that I look after myself. I bought this damn farm to prepare it to look after myself. But I also believe firmly, as you know, in the mammoth hunt concept, that human beings have evolved to achieve effectively as a species through groups of men. When you will protect my wife and daughter, and I will protect your wife and daughter, then we are ready to take our sons to learn how men confront their problems through problem solving, troubleshooting. That's how you build a civilization, and that's also how I made my money making these damn DVDs for 10 years. I didn't invent...
Ooh, okay, so that was a lot of
For shit.
just bullshit.
Yeah.
So yeah, so basically what he just said, the way that everything should work is that it should be groups of men.
Quote
Wow.
unquote protecting each other. It sounded really like low bar. Like you talk about high IQ. It's like maybe you could think maybe a little higher, and you can think maybe protecting each other might come in a different form than actually physically having a farm and protecting each other physically.
Right. And who says that the woman, the wife and the daughter can't protect themselves to some degree?
Exactly.
And I mean, to me, you say, you know, it's like a group of men where we're going to protect each other's wives and daughters, and then we're going to teach our sons how to grow up and be men. Sounds like a big circle jerk to me.
Yeah.
Like, seriously.
It's like instead of just raising all your kids to protect themselves and protect people around them, those people need the protection. Oh, no. Women, children over here. You know, boys, let's raise you up to be these big hunky guys and, you know, basically protect everybody. Women, no, you sit over there in the corner. We'll protect you. I'm sorry. I'm not that way.
I'm just waiting on him to get to where this has anything to do with the coronavirus. So we have yet to figure out.
I don't know. I've seen videos like this where they never get to the point. So this may be
he
one
may
of
never
those.
get to the point. Who knows? I guess, Bull, let's continue down this rabbit hole of what the fuck.
Before we continue, sorry, I don't mean to drag it out, but I wanted to bring to light that he kept complaining about low IQ, and then he stuck to this idea that there's like men, like, you know, boys over here, girls over here. Like, what if a son was super duper good at like one of the girl jobs? Do you say, okay, we need somebody bad to do that girl job because we're not going to let the boy do it? He's got to be bad at protecting people. That's because that's what he's got to do.
Well,
that doesn't sound very high IQ to me.
Mr. Serious, it's just quite unacceptable for a young man to like anything that girls like.
That's right.
I mean, you know, come on. We're talking about Copeland here. Do you really think he has
if it's a boy, it's got to do boy things and be a man and not want to cook and do dishes.
He needs to take care of that sweet Southern belle living next door that he's going to grow up and marry and impregnate 10 times.
Right. Yep, that's right.
He'd hate my son. My son, that's
but
what
I agree with you.
To do is
I
cook.
agree with you, Mr. Serious. I agree with you wholeheartedly. It's a bunch of bullshit.
And that's why I'm here. I'm doing something that a guy's never done before. Not a real, guys probably aren't going to be in this place normally, but here I am.
Oh, we love you. We love you for it too.
We're glad you're here.
I think it's awesome. I love it. Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad to be here.
Yes, we're glad to have you. So, Bull, with that said, let's see if he ever gets to the point of what the fuck this has to do with coronavirus.
Jack shit. I just learnt to be the guy who was the cheapest in New Zealand. And I used bots to game the earliest social media platform, MySpace, it was called MySpace, and get heaps of fucking business from all the bands in New Zealand, and that's how I made my money to buy a house in Auckland. It went through the roof. I knew that it was unsustainable. The value didn't reflect what it really was, and so I sold it. I paid the mortgage back to the bank, and now I live on this farm. Too long didn't read. Basically, I knew the world was fucked. I bought this farm. I don't really care about the virus. I still do what I do every day. I get high. I dig in my garden, hammer some timber together. I go on YouTube to talk about girls and, you know, black pill, ugly guys and cells. But the big issue is, of course, I can't go to Europe. I can't Geomax there right now. or this year by the looks of things. There is a lot of trading opportunities. I have made some good money in the first few days last week when this all kicked off, and then I lost even more. And I'm trying to make that back. In fact, by now I actually have pretty much almost made it back. But it's not that big deal.
why is he
Dudes are getting
complaining?
fucked up the arse out there. So, in the market. So for me to be, we just haven't seen how bad it's got yet because they're still mopping up the fucking blood and taking away the bodies. I don't want the fatties no more because I don't think they're nice people. They're angry in the world for something.
Fatties? Wait.
They're angry at the
you
world
do.
for something
Wait.
they can quite clearly change. And comparing an incel getting laid to a fat girl just getting into fasting, which I've been fasting for months now. I don't even have a full meal each day anymore. Just stop eating so much. It's not necessary. But
Pause it.
I don't.
Oh, baby.
Oh my God, please.
Yes, God.
So we go from all the men are getting fucked because of the coronavirus to I don't even like the fatties anymore.
Oh my gosh. And he's fasting so he doesn't gain weight. I'm sorry, but in this day and age right now we're living in, and food may or may not become scarce, I'm glad I'm a little overweight because I'll have more fat to live off of.
That's right.
He just gets high, goes on YouTube, and talks about girls. Doesn't
Yeah, talks
talk
about
to
girls.
girls.
No,
just
about.
girls.
Yes. Yep. And then he wallows in the fact that it's going to get worse because of this COVID. And, you know, fatties are fatties and he doesn't like them anymore.
Fatties are to blame for everything. We now have a new enemy to fight. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Now, in his video last week, didn't he say something about my wife and daughter or my wife and child or something? Last week, do you remember? And then he brought it up again today, but he sounds like he doesn't even have a wife or kid.
No, he said he was once married and it didn't work out, I
Okay,
think, if
okay.
I understand.
But he talks like he's got a family to protect almost, you know?
No,
But
he's just got his weed and garden,
He's got his farm
his farm.
and his money that
And
he
his
made,
money.
and then he lost it, and then he made it back because if that actually happened, that would be something to bring up.
Exactly.
Because that
Like,
has
that's
everything to
pertinent
do
too.
with
Yeah.
COVID.
Yeah, exactly.
And so do the fatties. The fatties have everything to do with COVID.
Yes.
Well, TD Lane makes a good point. He says, I think Copeland is actually a 500-pound neckbeard.
Probably doesn't have
Could
a farm,
be.
he's just in the basement somewhere.
Could be, you know. Who knows?
Could be. Could be.
He's got a hydroponics farm. That's what he's
There
talking
you go.
about.
There you go.
Or just said
Exactly.
he needs to protect his sheep. They provide for his every desire.
Oh my gosh. Well, isn't he from New Zealand? So don't they have a lot of sheep there?
That'll answer a lot of questions.
I think sheep are really the only thing that is in New Zealand other than
New
people.
Zealand. Yeah, they do outnumber the people, if I recall. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh my gosh.
Sorry,
Oh Lord. Help
Sorry.
us.
Sorry,
Okay.
Ilya.
Oh no. It's totally fine. Yeah. The sheep won't have
Steaming
him. says-
Pepperisa, the sheep won't have him.
Oh, good.
Nice one, steaming.
Because they're fat.
It's
They're bad.
It's New Zealand where men are men, women are scarce, and sheep are nervous.
Yes.
Oh my Lord. Okay. Let's move on, Bull.
Okay.
Let's see it play.
I don't want the fat girl who is angry because she knows if she was hot, she wouldn't have to date a fucking double chin manlet like me. I have matched with a sugar baby, so I'm basically going to throw some cash on her so I can talk about it for my videos. Like I said, I'm not going to Europe. I've got 10 grand and I've got the opportunity to test Coco Jumbo's hypothesis that I'd be better off staying at home and being a whore because that is what is likely to happen. because the Hong Kong chick, she's pretty hot. She's got a lot of unicorn appeal. Small wrists, nice little hands, pouty little lips. She's
What the hell
turning
is
up to see her
unicorn
family who live
appeal?
in the city half an hour from me.
Unicorn
It is a
is like the
gigantic cow
perfect
town
woman
built
in
with
incel
money from
talk.
selling milk to
Oh,
China,
okay.
but the point I'm getting back to is the same as my last video. No cohabitation. It's not that I'm going crazy for whores at all. I just see now that having a woman in your house is like a nightmare, because I just want to smoke some weed and make my videos and fuck around on my farm
There we
and
go.
fuck a
That's what his
decently
farm
hot
is.
chick. That is really all I want to do. And also go to Europe and fuck chicks there. It's a simple, stress-free life, you see. And I don't know if I want some hot Hong Kong catfish ass bitch in my house. If, like, I can meet some 20-year-old chick on Tinder who's like, yeah, take me out, whatever, McDonald's, a few drinks, take her to my place, bang her a couple of times, drop her home with $100, That's what we're talking about. Once every week or two. And that to me seems hassle-free. Text her sometimes, hey, bitch, what are you doing? You just want
Lord.
that validation. And I think you would be at a greater risk here of falling for her. But as always with these whores, they're taking other dicks, and you know it. But at least you know it. That's the beauty of handing over your money and walking the fuck away.
He's quite the
But of
romantic
course,
bunny,
since
he
I
said.
started writing notes for this post, the situation is getting much worse. And I can
we taking
see
notes,
that
everybody?
this is looking like the
Yeah.
biggest event of the
Pause it a
century so
second,
far, and
I
it's
don't
going to
have
have
to.
a
I'm
huge
married, so I'm
effect on
cool.
I just have to say that my dream come true would be to go to McDonald's and then have a few drinks, and then $100 be left on my nightstand as you exit. That's like my dream date.
That's a lot of Egg McMuffins, folks. That's a lot of Egg
Oh, but they're
McMuffins.
so. Yeah.
That's my dream date too. No,
Well,
I mean, like the romanticism that goes into that date is just,
Linda Bertelson says his Tinder date sounded more like a hooker, especially when you drop them off and give them $100.
well, I mean, he's got nothing else to offer. That's all
No.
he's got. He's got to give him $100 because he can't put himself out there. He's not gonna get emotionally invested in anything. And I think it's just because he's a coward. He's afraid he's gonna get his special little fifis hurt. So if he treats women like this, he doesn't have to worry about it.
Right.
yeah. Let's
he
not
just
forget
wants-
about the unicorn in Korea, because apparently she
No, he
is.
said. I think he said Hong Kong, didn't he?
Oh, Hong Kong. Yeah,
Hong Kong.
you're right.
Mhm.
Yeah, let's not forget about that little unicorn. Jeez,
I
what
don't
do you-
understand half of these terms he says. What are
No.
these? What do they mean? I mean, it's
So yeah, so we can look at that a little bit, because I do know that incel terminology is a little bit different, and so just to kind of walk through some of the language that we will hear when it comes to the word unicorn. Hang on, I've got my little notes here. So a unicorn, it's basically the perfect woman. That's basically
okay.
what it is. Yeah, like the absolute perfect woman is basically what that is.
Okay.
okay.
Thor Logic of the God says this guy sounds like the type of twig-dicked, chinless twat who is so unfamiliar with women that he blows his beans when Grandma gives him a kiss at Christmas.
So, okay, I'm starting to put together a picture. So he considers a girl from Hong Kong to be perfect?
Well, this particular girl, I guess he sees or something.
Yes.
Okay, but big girls are out of the question.
Of course.
Fatties are a no-no.
Yes,
The
fatties
smaller
are a
the
no-no.
girl, the more acceptable it gets.
She had small hands and perky mouth.
I mean,
Said.
I don't
We
want
can only
to.
assume he said that for one reason only, but okay.
I mean, I'm not going to
Yeah.
insinuate anything, but I'm putting together
A picture?
yeah.
Sounds like he likes an anime
Yeah.
ideal
Lollies.
of a woman.
Yeah.
Ideal
Lollies.
of a woman.
He-
Yeah.
He deals in shallowness, not with the woman, but with what they look like, basically appearances. Very shallow.
Well, I like what Punchy said. Maybe it has to be incredibly tiny so she can feel his micro penis.
Yes. Oh, it's good, Punchy.
I'm just saying that could be the case. We don't
Yeah.
know. We just don't know.
We just don't know.
We don't know what we don't know.
That's right.
Oh gosh. Oh, hey, Shield. Wait, I want a Korean unicorn. Oh gosh, y'all are getting me tonight. You chat. All right, let's move on.
On everything. That I am going to have to talk about how everything I've discussed and all the plans I've made are now going to be influenced by the chain of events that has been now set off by this virus. It is quite serious. You have not seen the beginning. You've only seen the beginning of what's about to happen in the next few weeks or months. You're going to hear me say that the medical crisis is secondary to the economic crisis, which in itself is secondary to the psychological and social effects we are going to see, and this may be the biggest shift in lifestyle witnessed in decades, and that's all being obscured by the fact that we have not seen a bottom, as they say in trading, yet. We have no assurance that this thing isn't going to get much worse, and you know how analytical I am, and so it's kind of taking me a while to process what exactly is happening and how everything is going to change. My quickest point of reference I've been making is that we should compare this to the GFC and 9/11 put together. That's what I'm talking about in terms of framing. Then, when it's quite possible, it could be much worse than that. I think there's a very probable chance of that, and the only reason I'm not saying this will be talked about for years is that you've seen the bushfires in Australia, California, Brazil. You've seen the water start to run out in India. You've seen the movement of refugees. You perhaps are not seeing what's going on in the background with oil right now and the aligning of certain states with either the China or US. These are just the things lurking in the background that are all waiting to make this situation so much worse in certain regional flashpoints where people are going to start fucking dying. It's fairly possible to say that life will never be the same, and it has begun. That if there was ever to be a consolidation of centralized power, like so many theories and conspiracies suggest, then we are certainly seeing the beginning of that process. But there's no need to assume the worst. Just be aware that if things were to turn dramatically dystopic, we know there's no reason that's not possible. We would have good reason to be concerned about a lot of what is happening right now and what it portends. Once again, conspiracy shit like whether this virus was cooked up as some part of a geopolitical power play is not a discussion worth having, because people seem to elevate their opinions and predictions at the expense of what knowledge can be gained by looking at what we actually know, as opposed to some fucking bullshit theories that can't be fucking verified. It's useless information in a crisis situation like this. Go with what you know. That is what you see here at Copeland. I'm always using what we know as opposed to some fucking dream I've cooked up in my fucking head as the basis of some kind of new perspective or
So most of what he just said, I actually don't 100% disagree with. I don't think that the conspiracy theories around this are worth deep diving and looking into. I think that we as humans have destroyed our earth in a multitude of ways, which has helped create global warming. And in global warming, of course, we have facilitated an environment that is ripe for these type of new viruses to take shape. However, what I don't agree with is the fact that he's saying people are going to start dying. People are already dying.
Yep.
Thousands of people are already dying.
Yes.
And what this has to do with being a black pill or being a part of the black pill incel MGTOW fucking bullshit movement it has nothing. There's no correlation. None.
No.
There's zero correlation between the two.
Well, that last spiel that he gave came off as very tabloid to me. He starts off gloating about how he's so analytical. And then he goes into this diatribe of, oh, you think things are bad? Well, things will get worse. Wow, thanks for that super useful quote there, buddy. Can we quote you on that? Where's your source? I bet he sourced that. No, he just saying like it's just a bunch of nonsense. I mean, up to the point when he said the thing about, who cares where the virus came from. Oh my gosh, a validation voice in the chat. I just noticed.
We're not talking to ignore him. Ignore him.
Yeah,
we're not giving him any validation whatsoever. Ignore him.
Absolutely. Don't time him out. Just leave him alone. Don't even bother timing him out. He's not worth it.
Ignore him, please.
Exactly. Just completely ignore him. Pretend he doesn't exist. And yes, thousands. I'm looking right straight across my living room, and I can see the amount of deaths from coronavirus already. 33,881 worldwide.
Yep.
Globally. And yes, the Earth is a globe. And in the United States alone, 2,400 plus.
Yes.
Yep.
And one of them was an infant that I saw in the news the other day.
And one of them was my uncle. True.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Exactly.
So let's move on and continue watching.
Oh, and at the end he said, go with what you know. Like he's trying to still pretend like he's giving us like hardcore facts.
Yeah.
All right, so let's keep going.
Experiment that could then allow us to learn more or see what needs to be seen to reach our goal. And in this case, we need this total reassessment. I have not barely processed what we're dealing with here. Obviously, the geomaxing thing has been put into serious shutdown. It will be months until we can look at the world this way again. We have to remember that with borders closed, I couldn't even get my unicorn into the country. And the Hong Kong chick I was talking to now since yesterday has vanished because just before it was announced the borders would be shut. So her trip here in May doesn't look likely, and now we're left with a whole lot of geopolitical questions. We've got Carl Trouble, who is, he's this e-commerce PUA brat based in Kyiv. He's been ribbiting about how great the exchange rate is now, but it is quite clear Belarus, Ukraine, and Russia are, of course, all lying about the spread of the disease. Belarus is on 51, Ukraine is on 21, but it seems like bullshit, and Ukraine is the sort of place where things could easily be mismanaged and things could turn really bad. What's happening in Italy could easily be happening in Ukraine. We completely have to wait and see, because the geopolitical and economic after effects that are yet to even be felt is the biggest issue, as we will continue to see in the weeks and months ahead. Because much like you have got to get your money right and your dick right, now the whole world needs to get its money right and its dick right. But what is about to happen is that the world is going to find that its money is not right. It is in fact very, very wrong. And it's likely this recession will be worse than the GFC. It may not only be just as deep or deeper, but longer. We could have years of recessionary pressure and everything that involves, which is all I've been thinking about for the last few days. Trading the market, making some money, losing some money, and thinking about my position here on this farm, where I will basically be watching because I will get income relief from my business. And I have begun collecting rent from my farm already now, so I'm actually doing better than ever. And of course I've already saved over $5,000 to go to Europe, which looks very unlikely, and it only cost me $100 to live here a week. So even though it will be a little bit cold in winter, it really won't affect me at all. I will spend my time looking at how to leverage my situation to take advantage of the carnage that is coming. We have to yet to see just how bad this fuck is going to get. And I'm not talking about the disease, man. I'm talking about the disease, the economics, and how everybody's going to be fucked in the head for years to come because of what's about to happen if people are having to spend fucking 6 months or more inside. And as for dating, the Becky Bumbles, a situation like this does tend to put your life in perspective. And I ask myself if I want to be wasting my life with these chicks, because I get so tired of it all. Like, I do well with the fives because I can give them the banter that most fuckboys can't manage. It's a situation like this where a woman needs a man to be strong, though. And I will be strong, but not for the benefit of any chunky, plain-faced fives who may be anxious and scared and all the rest of this bullshit now. But we already know
Oh, wow.
So, first of all, he takes some actual decent points around how this is going to change. We are headed towards depression due to everything going on.
Right.
Absolutely. I don't necessarily disagree with some of those statements. But what the fuck does that have to do with your dating life?
Exactly.
So your little Hong Kong hottie unicorn, who you met one day prior, by the way, just one day,
One day.
God forbid, you actually give her the chance outside of one day, but the borders start to close, so she leaves. Hello, dipshit.
He was probably being catfished anyways. That's probably where his losses of
Probably.
money came from that he was
Yeah.
talking about earlier.
Could be.
Yeah.
Could be.
Wouldn't be surprised if he's looking for women that are overseas like that.
Either that or she doesn't exist and he's making it up.
Yeah.
That's true too.
True.
I'm just throwing that out there as a hypothesis. Again, if you have a double chin, asshole, you probably don't deserve a fucking 10 unicorn.
Right.
You probably are a looks match in incel language to a 5.
Okay.
And that's being generous.
Yeah.
I don't even care what you look like
No.
at all. I do not value people based on their looks. You value people based on who they are, how they show up, and how they represent themselves in the world. You base it. If my legacy is that I was some hot chick who did a show on the internet, then I'm doing my fucking life wrong. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
My legacy should and will always be how I am as a daughter, a sister, a wife, or a girlfriend, and how I was as a mother, how I am as a friend, that.
Or just as a basic decent person.
Correct.
I mean, that's all it is. Just be decent. And like I said in a tweet the other day, be nice. If you're that,
yes.
Holy shit, people. It doesn't take much. It's common sense, but I noticed that common sense isn't common anymore.
No, it's
so,
not.
No. So
Yeah,
there you go.
And the fact that you all are 3 hot chicks on the internet is just a bonus.
Yeah. Yes, it is very much a bonus.
Yeah, and
Yes.
I think it's so ridiculous that so many of these men like this put so much value on looks and put so much value on things that fade away and have zero relevance to who the person is. I would much rather live in a cardboard box with someone who genuinely loves me, has my back, and is there for me, than some rich Chad-looking motherfucker who can take care of me financially, but absolutely has zero capabilities of being there for me as a friend and being there for me emotionally and mentally. And it's just dumb to value people on that level. It's really sad is what it is.
It is very sad.
It's very sad.
And that's why people that do that don't have long-lasting relationships. They bounce
Yeah.
from person to person to person. They never will find love.
Yeah.
Well,
Absolutely.
Copeland, at the beginning, he deflected that he was like, make sure you don't fall in love with the girls or whatever. But I don't think that's his actual issue. His issue is that he is so garbage on the inside that no girl would ever fall in love with him.
Correct. Yeah.
Right. He's ugly on the inside. That makes him a 0.
And he keeps talking about economics, the economy, like that is the end-all, be-all of being on this planet. How much money you have, or how much wealth or whatever, how much you have. That's not the end-all, be-all.
No.
Yeah, he was talking about being a black pill in this crisis time, and he's gone on way more about the economy than the virus. He's starting to sound like Trump giving a speech about the issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
Exactly.
it's just it's disheartening to see that there are still so many people in this world who put so much emphasis on the most shallow, superficial parts of people rather than seeing the people underneath it all. You know?
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, Bull, let's move on.
We are going to. They are going to go back to being insufferable bitches when men have fixed everything for them, and I don't want them because they're no use to me. These women, these career girls, were told again and again that the system was corrupt and that the planet was dying and the privileged lived well while the bottom of society suffered, and they rammed this feminist shit down our throats anyway. And it is in these changing times that political and cultural change is possible. And I think as we have looked at black pill politics before, finally now, a window is now opening.
So I just have one thing to say about this, and then I'm going to mute and let you guys address the rest, because everything he just said is a bunch of narcissistic, sick bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Period. If you want to know the truth, the men who are running at least my nation right now are fucking it all up.
Yep.
There is not an ounce of dignity in what the current government, state, and administration is doing during this crisis. They are acting like fucking fools and fucking it all up. We went from having 1,500 cases to over 120,000 in 2 weeks because of the men running this fucking country. They are fixing shit.
There are some women doing it too, but the majority
Correct.
are men.
Correct.
The majority are men.
But our president is a man who has the
True.
ability to sign executive orders to put steps in place to be more cautionary. But instead of doing it on the federal level where he has the ability to, no, he's leaving it to each state government to handle, when he has the ability to sign an executive fucking order to make certain things stop and to get this under fucking control. But he cares more about the people and the money that's lining his fucking back pockets than he does about the fucking people. So don't tell me that men are trying to fix anything.
Yeah, when it comes to people in this country, I think that a lot of people regret not writing a woman's name on their ballot several years ago now.
That depends on the woman, but that's me. Sorry. Sorry, that's me. I'm all for one president, but not the one that was running. That's all I'm saying.
I agree, but I think we would be in a lot better position if she was in power right now than Trump.
Again, I agree to disagree, but we can do that. That's fine.
Sure.
Yeah. That's not just because politics too much.
Relating to the virus.
Yes. Well, yeah. No,
I don't think
I'm sorry, Mrs. Serious.
I don't think a worse job could be done, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, that I agree to with.
Oh yeah, but the stock market.
Yeah, it's got to be all about the economy right now. The economy will eventually bounce back. It may take a while, but it will bounce back. People's lives are a hell of a lot more important than the stupid economy right now.
Yeah, when we have to, I don't know what we're going to do. I don't know. I don't want to get to that. That sounds like bring me on for another show for that.
Yeah.
We got to continue this video.
But this guy's using it as well, what about the economy? What about the economy? And he keeps saying, I'm doing good now. I lost, but now I'm getting, like, who cares?
Right.
Who cares if you gained money or lost money? This is about the world right now, not about you. You know what I mean?
I'd like to see him together. I'd like to see him go to like the full morgues in New York and stand up and give that exact speech.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, right now our citizens should be our main focus.
Yep.
Economy second.
Yep.
That goes for whoever the hell is in charge. I don't care who it is.
Exactly.
Whether they're left, right, center, up, down, doesn't matter. Don't care. We just need to make sure that our people are being taken care of. We have enough medical supplies. We have enough going on, as far as that is concerned. That's what we need to be concerned about. The economy can come second.
I saw a video the other day from a nurse in New York that just ripped my heart to shreds, where she went undercover live at her hospital, and literally they were out of ventilators, they were out of room, and literally she went walking with her cell phone and took a video with hundreds of people waiting in line at the hospital.
Oh my God.
And it broke my heart. And she said, I don't care if I get in trouble for this, but they are lying to you.
And they're having to do with plastic, what do you call it, garbage bags as
Yes.
coverings right now, because there's not even protective coverings for them.
No. And let's not forget, Trump dismantled the task force that was set to handle this. So, United States is now number 1 worldwide of cases. And Trump dismantled the task force who was equipped to handle this last year.
Yeah, this should have been a month ago when it started hitting us. It should have been dealt with at that time.
Yes. This should have been
mobilized, yes.
And I'm just not pissed off with what's going on with the president. It's also the people in the Congress and the House.
Well, that's
politics.
It doesn't matter who's in office right now. They're all bungling it up, and they're all
bungling it up.
Yes, and excuse my language, but they're all fucking it up. It doesn't matter if there's an R or a D behind their name. They all suck.
Nope. They are all sucking right now. And
I mean, we've known about this since what, the end of January that we've known about this coronavirus, or China has, and
patient zero was diagnosed January 20th.
Okay.
Wait, really?
Yes.
Because it was called COVID-19, and that means it had to have been discovered in 2019.
In Wuhan, but patient zero in America.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the 19 refers to 2019 , so.
Yeah.
Yes.
Correct.
But as soon as that first person was diagnosed, that should have been pounced on immediately.
Yep. And I think, we're in a place now to where, hearing this stuff from people like Copeland that the man is going to fix the problems. Really? Where?
Right.
When?
A penis doesn't make you a problem solver. Trust me.
Can you give me a timeline as to when I know I can safely go to the grocery store again, please? I would like a timeline.
Sometimes a penis will make you a problem maker.
Exactly. What we need is everybody to just come together as a community like what we are. And instead of all this partisan crap, and whether you have a kickstand or not, doesn't matter.
Right.
We just all need to be working our asses off to get this fixed now that it's all messed up by everyone. So now everyone needs to get together and work on it. I mean, it's time.
Hey, Chris.
Now.
Hey, Chris Katsolis, if you have a citation for that, can you send it our way? Because I've not seen that, and I would really like to know. So if you have a link, put it in the chat, the side chat, so I can grab it, because I've not heard of that, and I would like to see where, if you know that's happened, where it's at. Not saying at all that you're lying. I'm just saying if you've seen that somewhere, please send it, because I don't think anyone knows that.
Yeah, Washington is getting hit like extra hard. That wouldn't shock me, but I didn't hear about that either.
Right.
No, I haven't heard about that either.
No, I heard they were in 2020. I heard that they were February, I think they started. I don't know.
Well,
not sure.
Patient Zero is from Seattle, and he was actually from the article I read, which I'll go find, and I can put it in the side chat too. But from what I read, he was in Wuhan and traveled back and had it.
Okay.
Yeah. And a lot of the initial first cases were people who were traveling from overseas, from China and Wuhan and other areas there in the Wuhan area, who came back before any of the travel bans or precautions were put in place.
And that's the other thing that irritates me, is China was so slow to deal with a lot of that. I mean, they just, as of last week, said, "Oh, no foreign people, no foreign nationals in our country." It's like, hello, you're waiting till March when this hit you the end of December.
Yeah.
That just no. No.
Yeah, there was not any sufficient planning for this whatsoever.
Nope.
But again, if you dismantle your task force that is built to run these type of situations and to handle them, what are you going to do?
Yeah. Yep.
I know it sounds like a zombie movie, Mr. Victory,
It does.
but
I think people are thinking that's what it should be like, a zombie movie, and it's not.
Yep.
okay, so here's the article that I found. It's Seattle patient zero spread coronavirus despite Ebola style lockdown. So I'm going to put that in the chat because this is where it came from, or where I saw it. It was a man who arrived January 19th in Seattle, and he was after coming home 4 days earlier from visiting his family in Wuhan, China. So I'm going to put the link to that in the side chat.
And Thor was saying that many people were sick from about September of 2019, and some have suggested it was early reports of C19. It was actually H1N1 and H1N3. We have the
Okay.
same thing here in the UK.
Got it. So that could be where the confusion is, that
because those are coronaviruses as well.
H1N1 and H1N3 are severe flu.
Right.
H1N1, if I'm not mistaken, is the swine flu.
Yes.
Or is it? Yes. And
Yes,
then
the swine flu.
And H1N3 is more severe than the swine flu. Because if I'm not mistaken, it's just a mutated version of the swine flu.
I think so, yeah.
Because I've had both, and they both suck.
Well, because I remember when the swine flu epidemic hit, I call it epidemic anyway, when it hit, they were initially calling it the swine flu and then switched to H1N1 after a while. Yeah.
Yeah. So this was, unfortunately, it is what it is. But, I wanted to make sure that I had correct. I don't want to give misinformation. So,
right.
Yes, based on this, the patient zero in the U.S. was a Seattle man who returned 4 days earlier from getting tested, or earlier from getting back from Wuhan, China, and he was the first confirmed case by the U.S. by 11 p.m. on January 20th. So, okay, let's get back on track here, and let's get back to the video.
Up for change, and once again, parallels between my personal experience and my political perspective align, and it makes me averse to this Becky Bumble archetype, this liberal career girl. I have nothing personal against this woman. I can have a drink with her, I can fuck her. But the window is now opening for a political point to be made. We don't owe these childless carousel riders anything at all. We don't owe anybody anything. But that's still, in the context of a greater crisis, no reason why kids out there should suffer because their parents are degenerates. They should get the government money too. That's what I'm talking about. The kids deserve, if anyone deserves the fucking government money, it's the damn kids. But this is a time where Becky Bumble can be cut loose and made to recognize what it means now to be an independent woman when times are not so good. This is especially now I have been chatting with a 19-year-old chick who I am making an arrangement with over these last couple of days. I am going to be giving her, we've agreed, $200 New Zealand, which is now like down to about 110 American, for sex. She works in an office and she's bored. She's barely a 6, and that's only because she's 19. In a few years she's going to drop another point, and basically, you know the deal. I'm only talking to her because I'm committed to the Copeland life. I really feel it.
Oh.
So he likes them young, huh?
He likes them young, and if they get over 20, 21, they keep drop. I guess they drop every year.
Oh, honey.
It's only they start out as a 6, and they drop every year after that.
Oh, honey.
Every year after that.
honey Copeland, let me just share.
Oh.
Let me shed some light on something for you here. I don't know that you are aware of this, but the way women's hormones work are quite interesting. They actually don't hit their sexual peak until their 30s.
Yes.
So, and sometimes even in their late 30s.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes that's when it's the most fun.
Yeah.
Because once you get a woman who is liberated and feels sexually free and hits their peak and hits their time, they're pretty much game for just about anything.
Yep.
If Copeland was to end up having sex with somebody who actually has any real experience in it, then he'll probably get laughed out of the room. So he's going to avoid that at all costs.
That's why I like him young.
Yeah. And like TD Lane says, that's fucking creepy.
It is creepy.
God, that's creepy.
It's disgusting. It's just, he better watch it because he's only got like a very tiny window for that person to be legal. In the case he's talking about.
I mean, he
I like
has to pay. I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, I like what Punchy said. I'd rather be with someone who doesn't live with their parents.
It's true.
Or you have to wait for them to graduate high school.
That too.
No kidding. He can help them with their homework, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He has to sit there and coax women to be with him. And here, I'll give you money. What?
Yeah.
So tell us, Mr. Serious Question.
All right.
How do you feel about a strong, independent, sexually liberated woman who has a job and makes a living for themselves?
Where's my wedding ring? I mean, it's like that's like the hottest thing ever.
Yeah. I mean, in all seriousness, there is something to be said, about, as an example, yesterday, the guy that I'm dating, I don't think anyone knows who that is, so I won't call it out, said to me, do you want to see the evolution of my work shirts? I'm like, that's hot. And it was a joke, but it was a joke because, hey, he works, he has a job, he's ambitious, he's self-sufficient, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I would think that for men, they would want the same thing.
Well, I mean, he reduces everything that women possibly do to make society just a better place. He reduces it all down to very superficial things. Like he brought up the carousel, and if anybody doesn't know what that is, he's referring to the cock carousel, which is a time where women just are basically sluts who sleep with anything with two legs, and it's like a certain age period, and apparently they lose points, I guess, after being on this.
Wow.
Because he is not on any kind of carousel of any kind right now. It doesn't work for him. It's only bad for women when women do it.
Yeah, it's okay for men, but not women. Exactly.
Yeah.
And if a woman finds a man who loves her and he's willing to, and he wants to take care of her, like maybe he wants to do it, maybe he feels any kind of obligation, that is because of the woman being like a foul thing that's happening.
Wow.
Like it's her tricking him into taking care of her, and that's all the women are good for. And it's everything that women do. He has twisted it into it being something bad that they have done.
It sounds like it.
Yep. And yes, so far all he said is I have to pay for sex and it's pissing me off. You're absolutely correct, 9 o'clock hero. He hasn't given anything that really talks about, anything. I mean, his video is just him ranting and raving about independent women who have a job and, just how he is paying. Now, keep in mind, he's paying a 19-year-old, paying her.
And
because
somehow COVID-19 is putting a wrench in that.
Yes. So just remember that, fellas. If you want to pay for it, you better do it before COVID-19 gets worse.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing against prostitutes, but this woman that he's paying to have sex with is going to lose a point soon.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Too bad.
Exactly.
Because she's above 19.
She's 19. Gonna be 20 soon. Oh, heaven forbid she turns 20.
It's gross.
Gosh, I
Sorry,
don't
but
like
I
them
just-
when they hit drinking age because that just
Yeah.
means they can get drunk and think another guy's cuter quicker. So,
That's right.
no. Oh, Jesus
Exactly.
sake.
Oh, my Lord.
Okay. I've gotten a couple of links. Thank you guys so much. I'm going to read into what you guys have sent me over on Discord and stuff, and I'll take a look at those. There is one that we got from Steaming Temp of Reason, and then one came into my Discord from Jen. So thank you so much. I will look into those. Where did you post it, Chris Kitsolis? Which Discord? It would be helpful to know which Discord you put it in.
Wasn't on the
Right.
Shills.
You should see my server list. It's ridiculous.
Mine's getting massive too.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean,
mine's starting to get
if
bigger.
you want to put it in my Discord under the uncalled for suggestions, that would be great because that's where I get a lot of my uncalled for stuff that I review. If you're in my Discord.
Where'd I put?
Oh,
Yeah,
that is you. Never mind. Hello.
Yeah.
Thank you. Idiot. Don't worry about me. I'm good. Let's move on.
Now, it's not just about this channel, it's that if I'm successfully coping, then I'm putting a signal out to my audience, to the guys out there who aren't coping. Hey, you can meet these 19-year-old sluts who are, let's just frankly, they are dumb little hoes. They are.
God.
That doesn't mean they're bad people. You know, just like Wall Street bankers aren't necessarily bad
Why are you calling
people.
them
There's so many
sluts?
examples of work and lifestyles that are distasteful. I don't believe that this girl deserves to be shat on just because she's bored and stupid and thinks it's funny that some older guy she met gives her money and we hang out and fuck. We have gone over and over this
This guy makes me gag.
at Copeland, describing how this era of degeneracy is exploding. Girls know that their ass is an asset and they want to do business with it. This girl, she's obviously got some issues, daddy issues or something. She's got her vibrator she likes. There's no way she would even fuck me if I didn't pass her looks threshold, so I...
Even if you didn't pay her.
So wait. She has daddy issues because she has a vibrator? Do you know how many women have vibrators? For fuck's sake.
Right.
I know.
I have one. Hey, I got no shame.
Oh.
I like how he went to try to go down a list of how she was like lowering her standards to be with him. Like I know he was like essentially bashing her, but he was basically degrading her mental state. So that's why she's going to be with him. And I guess he is right. Yeah, she has to be she might have to be stupid and crazy in order to even sleep with you for money. I agree, right. Copeland.
So I do.
Copeland is not stable mentally. Something is wrong there. Of course, I'm not going to say anything more than that because I'm not an expert or anything. But
calling women whores and sluts,
something's
and
not right.
But she's not bad. But she's a whore and a slut. What?
Yeah,
I don't want to shit on her, but she's stupid.
Exactly. And the weird things that he conflates, like having a vibrator and daddy issues, that's creepy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So I do want to really quickly for Chris Katsolis read a little bit of what he did send over. So flu study researchers are clinicians and not physicians with the ability to diagnose a health issue. But researchers knew what they had in their labs, potential evidence that COVID-19 may have already been in Seattle before the first case was reported at the Life Care Center of Kirkland. So this article is basically stating that the researchers are stating that it could have been there prior to the actual first case that was diagnosed. So I I don't know that this is confirmation that it was there as much as it just is saying that there was potential evidence that it could have been.
Well, I mean, patient zero that's not the first person to have the disease.
Right.
That's the first person to be diagnosed with it.
Correct.
So there could have been like a whole town full of people there the month before, but that still means the first person that was diagnosed with it was in what, February?
No, January.
January. Yeah, January.
Yeah. But according to this, soon after the decision was made, the research lab started testing the samples and found cases of COVID-19. So I don't know. I'll need to look up, the editor of this news article just to make sure that it's not some sort of fictitious news or, you know what I mean? But I will definitely look into it a bit further, Chris. Thank you for sending me the link.
All right. Are we good?
Yeah.
All right.
Don't think this will work if you are low tier in looks, but this is why I'm going in to spend my money on this hoe, because I need to learn. I need to pass on knowledge to y'all, and I need to establish my game in this area so I can upgrade, because I found 2 other sugar babies on Tinder that I'm trying to reach out to. I already got my Instagram account deleted, basically, because I just had all these bots on Tinder trying to get me into these fucking scammy cam shows, trying to, give my credit card details all over, for fuck's sake, and trying to work out which ones were actually girls in my area and which were fucking bots, and I must have got pinged for something. So yeah, I'm working this angle. And just like with the fat chicks 2 months ago, it's a tough going at first. You're starting at the bottom, but once I have 2 sugar babies, I can make them both aware that they are both competing for my money. And this is incredible. Much like here on Copeland, I tried to talk about business and no one fucking cared. And I try to talk about these girls about business, and they don't care. They just want money and mediocre sex with a mid-tier beta simp like me. And these girls have no idea of fucking business. And that is where I will fucking crush them, because they don't realize they are in business and how business works. That I will force these hoes to compete for my money while acting like a simp with low-level game and charm, so that they don't even realize that I'm the one playing them. Fucking welcome to the jungle, bitch. Because as I keep saying to you, all I've done for the last 3 fucking days is traded Forex and thought about the strategic implications of this coming recession in terms of everything we've been talking about, and it has cruelly shut down our geomaxing ambitions for 2020. And I'm sick of Becky fucking Bumble. Like, give me Belarus Becky any day, please. Save my love for the Belarus Milficorn, because I will bang Becky Bumble, but Becky Bumble is also our political adversary, in that she wants to maintain the direction we were going in the West until now. Can't you see why this event is so huge? Because it will take months to fix, and then there will be an economic fallout, which will be huge, and then there will be a political fallout, which will be even bigger. And when that political fallout comes, we have to...
He is. He is.
Okay, so he's so what?
Okay, basically, he admitted to being catfished at the very beginning, because he was talking about the bots and the people who were like getting him in trouble on Instagram.
Okay.
And now he's a sugar baby to 2 women, which means he financially takes care of them in order to receive, I guess, affection from them. So he's spending money on people who are, I guess, over the internet, and he is going to destroy them in business. Ooh.
What?
I still don't get it, but you know, it
This
makes
is
him
like-
feel good. So
This
all
is
right.
He said like he's gonna pay them
service.
for sex and have them compete or something like that. Did I hear that right?
Compete
Yeah.
for what? McDonald's and freaking a few drinks?
I don't. Oh my god.
See, he thinks that he's the only sugar daddy for these two girls.
Oh, I'm sure they got more than just him if they're that good.
Yeah, they
I'm
are.
I'm sure.
They are not going to compete over him at all.
Oh gosh, no.
Listen, I ain't competing for shit. If I have to compete for somebody, then guess what? I'm going to compete for myself to build a
There
good
you
life
go.
for me because I don't need to compete for anyone. If I have to compete for someone, then that's not the fucking someone for me.
Well, when it comes to like the sugar relationships, they're not really looking for anything like like marriage, anything like that. It's just money. It's just basically long-term hooking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he's proud of that.
Oh, I'm sure.
I mean, he doesn't realize that it's not his. My words. He demeaned himself again about his looks.
Yeah.
And he said that because of that, he has to go down these roads. And that is so not true.
No,
It is not true. It's not the looks that are why you have to go to this road. It's your garbage insides.
Yes.
It's your garbage personality. That's why you have to go down this road.
If you have to pay a woman to pay attention to you, and you have to pay women to fight for you, then one, you're not investing for retirement, which you're going to have to do one day, and two, I don't know what else to say other than you're an idiot.
Well, he's not even paying for women to fight over him. He's paying for the fantasy.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, you know what? My fantasy is to be completely on the beach somewhere, perfect weather, toes in the sand, a few cabana boys, a couple of beers, and listening to metal music while I'm reading a book with maybe my significant other next to me.
Maybe.
And I'd be happy, but
Maybe.
that's not just going to happen overnight. I got to work for it.
You just need to do it the Copeland way and get yourself some simple fantasies.
Yeah, and just pay for it. And just pay for it, you know?
Yeah, just pay for it. You can get 2 sugar babies tonight. And you can pretend like they're fighting over you.
There you go.
And then tell everybody on the internet and be super proud of it. At Copeland.
I'm extremely socially awkward, so my fantasy is just sitting someplace by myself in peace and quiet.
That's mine too.
Can I come over?
Too.
Just stay 6 feet away, okay?
Yeah, exactly. Stay
Social distancing, people.
For those that are not in America, that's 2 meters away, okay?
Oh my
Exactly.
Seriously.
Yeah, with
What
Matt
kind of
playing in the background, he's fine, he's good, but
Yeah.
socially awkward.
Why don't y'all just stand outside of each other's windows and just wave from time to time?
Oh, fuck that! Just drive by and do a drive-by waving. There we go. Good enough. Seen enough of you. Bye bye.
Oh gosh. I was watching this thing the other day this couple did about social distancing and sex. And they were talking about wearing full-on mask and eye protective gear
So Pete.
and wearing gloves and doing saran wrap and all this shit.
Oh my god.
Oh, seriously?
I'm not kidding. It was a joke. Like it was a joke, right? It wasn't like serious, but it had me rolling. Like I'm gonna have to find that. And
It's
show
like
you
the
guys.
thing I saw on Twitter the other day. I don't know if we discussed it or I discussed it with my son, but it was two couples in a couple in a hazmat suit having sex. I don't know if you guys saw it, but they're all in full hazmat suits and they're having
saw that.
sex.
Well, I foresee a new genre of porn.
It's already there. There's already coronavirus porn on Pornhub.
Somebody was
Don't
saying the
ask
other
me
night
how I
that
know. Don't ask me how I know.
somebody was saying in a chat the other night that Pornhub crashed.
I bet.
'Cause there's
Sorry,
all the traffic
Pornhub.
to
Sorry, servers.
Yeah.
Exactly.
I opened one too many tabs.
Yeah.
High IQ porn.
Longer
Huh?
in this video do we have?
Oh,
I love
please. How
Punchy's.
much?
I love
Punchy.
Punchy's fantasy. His fantasy is to have one winter with less than 5 feet.
5 feet of snow.
Yeah.
Go, Punchy.
Wow, that's hot.
That is hot. Yeah.
That sounds like a good fantasy. I'll take that anytime too, Punchy.
Oh, I think
he
I'm
and I
in
are having
love.
a snow off. So yeah.
Oh.
And I'm in love now.
Oh yeah, because you're in Maine, so yeah, you guys get snow like crazy too.
We do.
Sometimes I live
Sometimes
in
up to our
California. If I
eyeballs.
want to go to see snow, I'll go up to the mountains an hour away, and I'm fine.
Hey, Bull, how much longer do we have in this video?
Well, let me take a look here. We've got 3 minutes 45 seconds. Can we kill it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
Let's kill it. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yep.
Be able to put pressure on those who want to protect the liberal status quo, and there is a very nebulous political
energy starting to cluster in that at the neo-liberal and neo-conservative centre of politics is a very toxic inertia that people on both the left and right want to see flushed out of the system. And that's why when I do a high-tier analysis channel like this one, I understand that we have to pay special attention to what is going on right now. The whole Trump election thing was blown out of the water by people freaking out. But this time, we're facing a serious issue. If not with the virus, then with the economy. And if not with the economy, then how social culture is going to shift rapidly. People are going to be psychologically fucking fucked in the head. And how we can predict the nature of our future social and sexual relationships and how they're going to shift based on what's happened. I think you have to understand this will be dramatic. This will be the most dramatic historical event that we've experienced yet. And so shit is going to get really crazy. And if you're black pilled, you know how bad it can get. And you understand also how sexual dynamics will be upended. And I know it will keep me talking because, as I've mentioned before, this is cutting-edge material, cutting-edge content. Not because I'm some genius, but because no one has ever brought this modern black pill perspective to the verified circumstances that we're experiencing. The knowledge that this incredible event is revealing to us about our fate now as a species. This is the fucking history books being written. Just to bring the knowledge that we've already distilled and hammered out of the black pill to a culture-changing event, which may, in that cultural context, be the biggest event of all time. Because think about it. Since when has any event in our history affected
This
so
guy has gotten
many
so boring.
people?
It's all just
Absolute
the same
billions.
rants, the same
It is loved in
monotone.
the time of the coronavirus. The rise of the corona cells and what a brave new world we are to emerge into. A massive recession. Bitches on Snapchat need to get money. Recession is coming. The culture has already
he's been
primed
saying.
them to
Yeah,
milk
what
their
he's been
asset
saying all
portfolio.
along. I mean,
And we
it's
are not here to be predators. I am just emotionlessly assessing the sexual marketplace as I have from day one and describing to you how you can find a way to have some kind of meaningful connection with an attractive woman when we are basically looking at the beginning of the unraveling of our civilization. This feels like the start of a long road down to hell for humanity, and we are, of course, primed to enjoy the decline. We've talked about it so much. And now the commentary here at Copeland shifts up a gear as we go play by play. The game is afoot. We can see the cracks in society will start to crumble, and you don't want to get hit by anything, of course. You just got to pray. It's going to get held together for long enough, so maybe...
Wow.
That's how to play it. Oh.
What the fuck was all that?
He was just droning on. He was just droning on. He couldn't do it.
It's just ridiculous.
It was what I said before. What was going on? I.e., COVID is destroying civilization, so I can't pay to get laid because I can't get the women over here to get laid. It was.
Mommy, no, mommy, cross on my feet, paper culture.
That's all
What
it
the
was.
fuck?
Well, it's just like somebody out here with a bunch of conspiracy theories. It's like something happens, and then they have a way to fit it into what they already believe.
Yeah.
There's nothing black pill about COVID. I don't know how he even makes that freaking stretch. COVID kills way more men than women.
It's 79% of the deaths are men.
So I don't know. Like, if anything, this is like the matriarchy virus.
Welcome to hell, Copeland.
Right?
So,
Wow.
Bull, our next video, how long is it?
It is 13 minutes.
Okay, I think we can do it
You think so?
in 40 minutes. Yeah.
Yeah, I think we
Right.
can too. 13 minutes on from that same twat, by the way. When average men can't get laid.
Woohoo!
Come on,
find
Lou.
out.
Okay.
Let's
Let's
find
go.
out why you bastards can't
Let's
get
find
laid.
out. Mm-hmm.
Hello, listeners, and welcome back to Copeland. So, when I started my channel, I started with some pretty specific ideas in mind, and that's really to use my intellect to say, okay, now that we know this stuff, now that we've got so many new ideas bursting forth out of this black pill movement with so many new creators adding their voices, now that we know about hypergamy and that as women become more independent and less dependent on male resources, they will become more attracted to men through their looks, through status, and that the 80-20 rule will come down hard, meaning that even the average guy has to date down below their looks match as Chads and high-tier men run through all the desirable women. Well, what does this mean? I've tackled this from political angles, social angles, projecting into the future on some sci-fi tip, building out some philosophical perspectives, and in my last video I went back to circling this idea from my own personal view, talking about my experiences, coming out of Auckland, New Zealand, where online game had become a zoo, and rolling out to Eastern Europe and discovering the pussy paradises described by the likes of Krauser and Roosh had been decimated, that Ukraine girls were schooled in the arts of hustling men, and the reality is that when you come to Eastern Europe, yes, you're going to be dealing with hotter chicks than back home, but you're going to be dealing with a whole lot of other problems that you probably didn't anticipate, which really makes things just about the same. Yes, there's way more hotter chicks here, far less fatties. Women look good, they keep themselves in shape, they dress femininely, but even out the score, you don't speak their language. What's more, you're not from their culture. So not only are you not aware of all the little things about their culture, you don't have that bone-deep natural way of behaving the way that these men in these countries do, that they don't give a shit that all their women are hot. They just don't care. They act like men naturally, which is the same attitude in Russian-speaking countries that leads them to get blind drunk and kill themselves doing stupid shit. But that's what an alpha culture is like, and women love it because it works for them. You know why? Because incompetent men kill themselves doing incompetent shit, usually while drunk out of their skulls. So it makes women's jobs of waiting at the finish line so much.
Wow.
No, incompetent men get on the internet and complain about fatties and talk about a pussy paradise that exists somewhere. That's what incompetent men do. Just saying.
Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, that's okay. No, you go ahead.
Okay. He was saying something about like going to another country where women, I guess, basically wouldn't fall for his shit. And I find that pretty interesting. I mean, it's almost as if looks, just how he looks and how much money he has isn't everything.
Yeah.
No.
And he's not talking about himself in this video. Average? No, if his looks are average and his personality is garbage, I would not call him average.
No.
No,
It says shit on the bottom of my shoe.
Well, exactly. He's the one who, this is where that whole inner beauty comes out. I mean, he doesn't have any, so that knocks his looks down because of that. I'm not saying that, because if he's ugly or not, I don't care. I don't even know what he looks like. His attitude is crap.
Yeah.
That's not pretty.
Exactly.
Like Samuel L. Jackson says, he'd have to be one charming fucking pig.
Yep.
And it's that old
Exactly.
line, beauty is in the eye of the beholder. So, everybody's got different preferences on what they want the other person to be. And looks is part of that, but that's not all of it. That's just a minor part.
Exactly.
Looks are very subjective.
Yes.
Yep.
So, what you're attracted to is going to be different. What I'm attracted to is going to be different from what Amy's attracted to, and different from what you're attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
And of course, it works the same way for Sirius and Bull. Everybody has a different preference for what they're attracted to. Some people, if you're like me, don't really have preferences. I don't have a type. I love sense of humor and personality more than anything.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
you know, I mean, I just think he's full of shit.
Well,
Yeah,
I'm exactly where I want to be.
Yeah.
But the when it comes to Copeland, he doesn't let people get to know him at all. Like people who don't like he said, like he pays for girls and then they can fuck off.
Yeah.
If he was an Adonis, he would have to do the same thing.
Yep.
Because as soon as somebody got to know him, that would be that.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, Bull, let's get started again.
Much easier. You have to get into that Slavic mindset. A woman wants a man to take responsibility, so if he fucks up, it's his fault and he pays the consequences. A woman's only job is to look hot and pick the winners. But because the men are alpha, the women don't give an inch either. They won't put up with any spineless bullshit. They will roll right over you. And that's why Slavic women are so good at rinsing Western men out and leaving their wallets drained. This is me, of course, trying to answer the question of what the hell is to be done for average men in the West when my city of Auckland just got too feral and Tinder became a nightmare of these foul beasts cavorting recklessly. I took off for Eastern Europe thinking I would find the answer. And as I said, yes, the chicks are hot, but you've got a handful of new problems. The thing is also, of course, that just like the West, these chicks, they're not that poor. Sure, they don't make the money that we do back in the West, but that doesn't mean they are living some shitty lives because life here, well, it isn't that hard for them. Unless you're bringing serious cash or you're committing hard to living here while still earning Western money, then you're not really so rich that you're making some big impact. There's plenty of good-looking guys here with nice clothes and a nice car, nice new haircut, but he speaks her language and he knows the culture. It's fine if you're black pill, MGTOW, incel, FA, because there's a better lifestyle to be had here anyway, when you don't have to work your ass off. And that's why Roosh lives in Poland, even though he's kind of given up the whole PUA game thing. But when I went to Poland, it was wall-to-wall Chads and Stacys. It's similar in Serbia, where there's a ton of hot chicks, but there's a catch. Serbian guys and Polish guys are hot too. You want to see some guys with some good jaws, then you can go down to Belgrade in Serbia. Because the topic I wanted to get stuck into today is bouncing off what other MGTOW and black pill creators out there are saying and saying, well, what? What are we going to do?
Yeah.
I'm here in Minsk. It's almost time for me to go back home. And I am sick of dating 30-year-old sixes. It gives me no joy. Because they're all trad good girls and I'm some beta guy. I'm not really getting anywhere because I'm not going to be here long enough now to get some plates spinning. And the trad hotties I came to find are getting thin on the ground. And they certainly aren't on Tinder anymore. I watch a lot of DeadKennedyInSpace stuff, and I'm not picking out anybody at all. In fact, what I'm trying to do here is take on what I'm seeing, what guys are saying, and building on top of that stuff to come up with new answers, new directions, get new ideas happening. Like guys like DeadKennedyInSpace and Coach Greg Adams, who is a bit of a cringe lord at times with his double monkey backflips, chimpanzee business, saying, oh, you can't waste your time on these girls. Stop doing this and that for these girls. They don't give a shit about you. Stop simping.
Stop paying attention to these women. Blah, 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 blah. But this is a great point that VVS and other black pill guys posting from the front line have made, that if you stop paying attention to girls, if you don't text them, if you don't chase them, or anything like this, guess what? You are just going to be invisible. You're going to drop off the planet. You're going to be nobody. If you've got no game where you're not initiating anything, these girls are not going to come to you. They have got plenty of attention coming from some other orbiter guy, some other Chad who's got them going on the side. My compatriot, Coach Blackpill, has just dropped 2 new videos smashing up all the common copes of guys who tell themselves these little lies so that they can build their little strategy that's going to have them raking in the woman. And it's great to have this content keeping the ideas flowing or wait for new material from the man facing LMS. But again, I feel it's my position to take in this content and this content from DeadKennedyInSpace and say, okay, well, where does this leave us? Where does this leave the average guy? What is the average guy who can't get laid now because of the 80-20 rule? He has no status. He goes on Tinder. He can only match with some gross fat solo mothers or sex addicts or, the bottom of the barrel, who he has to run super tight game on just to get anywhere, which is just a ridiculous state of affairs. What are these average guys going to do? Oh, don't pay attention to women. Well, they won't be paying attention to you. Don't tell yourself a whole bunch of bullshit that you need to maintain a view of the world whereby you can avoid the truth. Your copes, they're good-looking guys born into opportunities to build massive social status, are taking home all the girls, and it doesn't matter what you tell yourself because that's the way it is. You can't even go...
The only thing he said in that entire monologue that made sense was blah, 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 blah.
I found that to be pretty good advice myself.
I'm trying so hard to not chase butterflies.
I'm just like, is this all his videos? He just bitches about men not getting able to get women?
Yes,
No,
I think so.
It's his whole. It's everything about his strategy that is like so poor, because he doesn't care. Like, he's going to be, oh, guys are just trying to get a bunch of women, lined up or whatever. It's like, I mean, that's so. Like, why? Why does that have to be the point? Like, why can't it just be finding somebody that you can spend the rest of your life with or something like that?
Right.
Why does it have to be that the best you can be is just some distraction?
Yeah.
You talk about not being able to get a certain kind of girl. Well, they're not looking for you to be their companion. They're looking to blow a few hours and maybe get off. Probably not if it's with Copeland, but and there's nothing wrong with that. But it's like that's not at all what I look for. No. I mean, I'm not on Tinder. I don't care about that kind of stuff. I don't know. Maybe I'm not as much of a man as Copeland.
I don't think Copeland's as much of a man as he is. Copeland. oh my gosh.
So the only thing he said that I can even get on board with is blah 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 blah. So
yeah, blah 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 blah. Exactly.
Well, let's get going.
Go to Ukraine or to Thailand, or you're going to get your wallet drained. Is it any wonder you get those poor young guys in the comment sections talking about how they're going to end it all because they've done the math and there's no hope but the rope? These poor guys. That's why I started Copeland, so we can start picking up these sad messes of these young guys who are being blasted away by these harsh black pills, facing the idea that they're never going to get a decent woman. Because did you know what? It's probably fucking true. So what am I getting at here? I'm saying, what do you do if you're ugly and short and awkward and you know no woman wants you? If you're some average guy and if you choose to stop hustling for female attention, they're not gonna miss you because there's always some other dude lining up to get it. Whatever it takes to give her the attention she needs to get her fix until Chad rolls back round later on tonight for a booty call. You can't even shelter in your bitter little fantasies that all these women are going to hit the wall and be single and sad and lonely with their cats, because that's not going to happen either, because they'll just work their jobs and they'll have their friends and they'll have that guy that they're fucking and they're going to be okay. So what does the average man do? What I'm getting at here is that although I am not MGTOW, you will never catch me being smug and superior about guys who are MGTOW. Because if you're ugly, if you're short, if you've got no social skills and no social networks, then what the hell are you supposed to do? You can't be throwing money at these girls, showering them with attention. You know it doesn't work. You know you're a simp. Simply because Darius M and MGTOW coaches tell you not to do it, well, it's because they're right. Don't do it. But they seem to be under some delusion that by ignoring chicks, they're suddenly going to be on your dick by some mysterious electromagnetic power, when in reality, they will always find it easier to ignore you than you to ignore them. That's why women were born with these fatty deposits on their chests and on their buttocks, to arouse men, to cave each other's heads in with rocks and fight for the dominance to mate with them. That is the black pill of the reality that we have been spawned from. It doesn't matter whether you call it MGTOW or whatever the hell you want to call it. Call it having some pride in being a man. Do you think the hard men of ages gone by were out there whinging and whining because they weren't being doled out their fair share of pussy that they felt entitled to? You know what the feminists say about incels, that they think that they are entitled to sex. Well, are they right? Is that what you think? Or are you ready to be a man and say, I don't owe anybody anything and nobody owes me anything, and you can call me incel, black pill, MGTOW,
Okay. I need to address something. And this is what I need to address, which it needs to be addressed. Those fatty deposits. on the chest and on the booty.
Mm-hmm.
You're never going to find a woman like that, Copeland, because until you can admit you have a problem, you can't get help. And the biggest lie you've said so far is that you're not MGTOW.
Yeah. I
But,
caught that too. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
we also got a super chat.
Yes, it's from John Rapp. Hi, John Rapp. $5
Hello.
Australian dollars. I don't have serious cash, just casual. Any ladies still interested? This guy's just a loser. Hashtag scorn bait. Thank you,
Perfect.
John Rapp. I was going to say, the fatty deposits on my chest are called mammary glands.
Yes.
And they're not there for men to ogle or to paw at. They're for me to feed my babies with.
Yep.
What?
Yes.
No.
Did you not know that?
My mind is blown.
Your mind is blown.
Yeah.
They're there to literally to feed babies. They're not there, they've been made into sexual organs by men like Copeland.
They're not fun bags for you boys.
No.
Although they can be, but
They can't be.
that's not what they were designed for.
I was
Exactly.
I hate to be like
Yes, Boole.
misogynistic, but can't they why is this a mutually exclusive state?
No, they can be
mammary
both.
glands. Like they can be fun for sex, but they're
Yes.
the purpose. The evolved purpose is to feed children. Yes,
Correct.
feed babies.
Yes.
And then the little fatty deposits on my butt, they're for me to sit on.
And to play with.
And yes, there you go. Everything has its perks, right? Double uses. There you go.
I mean, yeah. Sure. Men's
Chris
outdoor
Kessler,
plumbing.
they have-
There's a
Chris
use for that
Kessler,
too.
They have biological functions.
Okay.
Anyway.
Let's go ahead.
Faye, TFL, whatever label you want to put on it. But all you got to know is that I am not doing any clown dance. I'm not grinding my ass off at some shitty job to be some pretty boy just because I want so badly to be validated by some silly little girl. Because I am not an idiot. If the pussy isn't worth it, then it's not worth it. And I am not groveling on the ground for it. And if she doesn't want to give it up, then that's fine by me. Because I ain't begging for it. I ain't paying for it. I'm doing my own thing. I'm doing me. Even if that means I have to jack off, well, precisely 10 seconds later, I won't be giving some chick a second thought. Because we all have our price. We all have something we're willing to give up to get what we want. But when the price is too high, when there's not enough to go around, I am not reducing myself to a beggar, to a clown, to a slave, just to be tossed a little piece of what the system tells me I need to be happy. Call it MGTOW or call it whatever that you want. I don't care. I am a man. That means my honor, my dignity dies with me. My resources are for me and for the people I care about, the woman I care about, if she has earned it. Otherwise, I will be enjoying the decline, enjoying myself on my own terms, enjoying myself in Eastern Europe, enjoying the lifestyle there. You can throw all that money you work so hard for, that body, that face, that alpha frame, that thing you work so hard on yourself to become. You can throw your everything after a little piece of ass if it makes you so happy. Be my guest, you are welcome to it.
Yeah,
Don't give him anymore.
See the same thing over and over and over again.
There it goes.
There it goes.
I wonder if that's what he sounds like during sex. Only because it has to go so fast, because it doesn't put a lot of effort into anything. So
No.
He sure does put an awful lot of effort into whining, though. That's the thing. I mean, that's all he does. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's all it is. It's a big bitch fest.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, first of all, we're going to do a round table and close out. But Mr. Serious, I really want to apologize to you that your first time on the show, this is what you had to endure.
I mean, I did learn a lot. Apparently, I'm not a man. So I won't technically be your first male guest. You'll have to...
Oh.
I didn't know. I didn't know that. I thought I was, but apparently I'm not a man.
So we have our super chat.
Oh, yay.
John Rapp for another $2 Australian. Baby feeders, yes, but you should practice with them. And for all those listening, when I was talking about them, yes, I did grab them. So there you go.
I did too. I think it's a force of habit, though.
I think it is force of habit.
I think it's a force of habit. You talk about your boobs and you want to.
You just have to grab them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right, we can touch on that later.
Well, I can touch on that later.
We'll talk about that after the show.
We'll talk about it afterwards, yes.
Oh, jeez.
The UnCalled Four After Dark.
Yes, there we go. Yes.
I know we can make some money with that show.
Get a lot of super chats for that, I'm sure.
$5. I want to see Ilya touch her boobs. $10. I want to see Clover Mommy touch her boobs.
$50. Mr. Serious, get out of the camera.
Oh, no. Oh, jeez.
Oh my god.
Okay. It's always so much fun.
It was so much
Ripping into this bullshit with you guys. So let's go around and do a quick roundup. So let me get your final thoughts there, Clover Mommy.
I think there's a lot more to pursue with Copeland. Hopefully we can find some that aren't just about him bitching about women all the time and not getting any. But I hope he has a lot more to offer than that. He has to.
Me too.
But I had a good time tonight. It was fun.
Yeah.
Bull?
How
How you doing, buddy?
I'm still in a little bit of shock from those. His lack of self-awareness is staggering. Like,
right?
Do you not understand? You acting like this is why people, other than those floozies that you keep talking about, the ones that you pay for sex, not that there's anything wrong with it, are the ones that will be with you. Like, if you want quality, you have to exude it. That's the only way you're going to get it.
Yep.
Very well said, Bull. Thank you.
Exactly.
Aimee.
Yes. I'm tired of listening to this guy. And yes, and Boole is correct. I mean, if you go out there with this attitude that he's got, no one's going to want to come near him. Doesn't matter how much money he claims he has. That doesn't matter. Money doesn't matter, whether or not he's whatever they call hot dudes or whatever. I don't care. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, if you go in there with a great attitude, you're going to find things are a lot different than if you go in there with a crappy one, like what he's got. That's all he does is whine. I mean, that's getting old real fast.
Right.
I'm tuning him out already. I mean, it's just
yes.
And as we said before, it doesn't matter what your looks are. If you exude a good personality, good humor,
absolutely.
Everything, you get a lot more. What's that line? You get a lot more flies with honey than vinegar kind of attitude.
Yeah.
Yep.
Looks won't matter. Looks will not matter. And he would find people. He would find women to be with. They'd want to be with them.
Yep.
Absolutely.
I completely agree. So, Mr. Serious, what are your final thoughts on the videos we have watched this evening?
I'm kind of wondering what Copeland's mother was like. I mean, his relationship with his mother has to be deeper than physical, I'm guessing. So how can he not put that and put it like to any woman? Every woman is broken down to superficial nonsense. Like, this is what they do, therefore it's wrong. Is that how it worked with his mother? I mean, I don't understand how he can't. I don't understand his train of thought. You're wrong because of your naughty parts. Great. That's not the high IQ analytical person that he claimed to be in the first video.
Right.
Nope.
Right.
It's a very shallow take on it, to say the least.
Yeah.
And my final thoughts are very similar in the sense that women did not evolve to simply be seen as sex objects. We are more than our looks. We are more than the mammary glands and the patting on the backside. We are smart. We are fierce. We are intelligent. We are funny. We are relaxed. And more often than not, you will find women like myself, like Aimee, like Glover Mom, like Cy Strackling, who see past anything with men insecurity wise and love them for them. If you're just genuine and real in who you are, that's all it takes.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you're genuine, the more you're real, the more you're honest, and the more you put your insecurities aside and really focus on who the person is and try to invest in that, you're going to find yourself a incredible human being to share your life with. So that's all I have to say.
Mr. Victory has a great comment on this part.
Yes.
Final thoughts? A woman is worth more than all the treasure in the world, and that's from a guy who really hates his ex-wife, but she is still a treasure.
I love that.
Nice.
Thank you, Mr. Victory. That is awesome.
I love that.
Awesome.
And that is the perfect place to end the night.
Yes.
Absolutely. That's perfect.
Thank you guys for joining us tonight. Thank you, Mr.
Thank
Victory.
you all. Thank you.
For,
Thank you, Mr.
or
Serious.
Mr. Victory. Mr. Serious. Oh, Mr. Sorry.
All
let's
kinds of
Mr.
misters.
What's
I
the
messed it
saying?
up tonight earlier too, and I'm sorry.
Thank you, Mr. Serious, for joining us. We love you guys. We love you guys in the
Yes.
audience. We love you, Bull, for standing by us and always being so supportive. We will see you next week. Bye.
Bye, guys.